All right, let's dive right in. We're tackling Think and Grow Rich this time.
A classic for a reason.
Your pick, and clearly you're ready to unlock some serious success secrets.
Well, Napoleon Hill definitely seems to think he has the answers.
He lays out those 13 principles for building wealth, right?
Right from the get-go.
But it's more than just money, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that's what makes Hill so fascinating. He spent over 2 decades researching success.
Interviewing, like, the giants of industry, right?
Giants. Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, even Alexander Graham Bell.
He was trying to crack the code, weren't they? Not just for financial wealth, but for achievement in, like, any field.
Exactly. He wanted a formula. And he believed it all boiled down to thought.
Okay, so this book, it almost feels like we're getting, like, insider information, you know?
Behind-the-scenes access.
Yeah, because he claims Andrew Carnegie himself, the steel tycoon, gave him this whole project.
He did.
Like, Carnegie thought these principles were too important to keep under wraps.
Carnegie believed this magic formula could change everything.
Yeah.
Even cut traditional schooling in half.
Wow.
The core idea is that the power of thought is massive. And it all begins with desire.
Okay, but we're not talking about, like, wishing on a star kind of desire.
No.
Hill means burning desire.
Burning, the kind you're willing to work for, to obsess over.
The kind you're willing to make mistakes for. Even.
Exactly. He even tells that story about R.U. Darby.
R.U. Darby.
This guy literally quit digging for gold 3 feet from striking it rich.
Oh, no.
He gave up, sold all his equipment, and completely missed out.
Ouch, that's gotta hurt.
Talk about a tough lesson.
But didn't Darby eventually find success? In another field, I mean.
He did. And he said it was because of that brutal lesson he learned back at the gold mine.
You mean about that burning desire?
The one that pushes you through the tough times, the setbacks. He didn't have it then, but it became his driving force in the insurance business later on.
So resilience is key here. You need that fire to keep going, even when things get tough.
You need that fire and the ability to learn from your mistakes.
But what's that bridge between wanting something and actually getting it? How do you make that leap?
That's where Hill brings in the power of faith.
Faith, huh? Okay.
And I know what you're thinking, but it's not just about faith in a higher power.
Okay, so what kind of faith?
Faith in your vision, in yourself, in your ability to make it real. He calls it the element that harnesses infinite intelligence.
Infinite intelligence. Okay, we're going to need to unpack that one later.
We will. But the point is, it's about aligning your thoughts with your desires. Repeatedly, with conviction.
Are we talking about, like, straight up affirmations here, vision boards, that sort of thing?
In a way, yeah. Hill even lays out what he calls a self-confidence formula, and affirmations are a major part of it.
Interesting.
He believed in visualizing yourself as the person you want to be over and over.
Powerful stuff.
And he uses some interesting examples to back it up, like the story of Charles M. Schwab.
Charles M. Schwab, as in U.S. Steel, the giant corporation.
The one and only.
Okay, this is more than someone just chanting affirmations in the bathroom mirror, then.
Oh, absolutely. It's a pretty incredible story, actually. Hill claims that Schwab used this principle of faith to practically will U.S. Steel into existence.
Wait, really?
He envisioned the entire structure, convinced J.P. Morgan to back it, even predicted the value of the merger.
And how much was that?
$600 million. And he was spot on.
Whoa. Okay, that's not just manifesting a parking spot. That's next level stuff.
Next level.
But if I'm following Hill's thinking here, it's not just wishful thinking. There's real action behind it too, right?
Hey, 100%. Hill is adamant about that. Desire, faith, those are just the starting blocks. You need the know-how to back it up.
So that's where his emphasis on specialized knowledge comes in.
Exactly.
Because what good is a burning desire and all the faith in the world if you don't know how to, like, build a website, write a killer sales pitch, or, yeah, even build a steel empire? You need skills.
He's very clear about that distinction. General knowledge versus specialized knowledge. Knowing a little about a lot is important. But Hill argues that it's the specialized stuff, the expertise in your specific field, that really fuels success.
So becoming a master of your craft. I like that.
And alongside that, he places a huge emphasis on imagination.
So it's about being an expert, but also thinking outside the box.
Right.
Coming up with creative solutions.
Exactly.
I can see how those two go hand in hand. But, you know, it's not all sunshine and roses on the road to success, is it? Hill talks about failure, too. Right?
He does. He dedicates a whole chapter to persistence and overcoming obstacles.
Obstacles. Yeah, there are always obstacles.
He lists 31 major causes of failure.
31.
31. lack of a well-defined purpose, procrastination, fear. The list goes on and on. But it's not about discouraging you. He's giving you a heads up.
Forewarned is forearmed.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Recognize the pitfalls, and you're way more likely to avoid them.
Okay, so let me get this straight. We've got to be specific about what we want, back it up with unwavering belief, become experts in our field, use our imaginations, and be persistent. That's a pretty intense to-do list.
It's a tall order. And that's why Hill also emphasizes surrounding yourself with the right people, what he called a mastermind.
A mastermind? What's that?
It's like a group of supportive, like-minded people who can offer different perspectives, people who keep you going when things get rough.
Like a personal board of advisors.
Exactly, but with a much cooler name.
I like it. Two heads are better than one, right? So far we've got desire, faith, auto-suggestion, specialized knowledge, imagination, persistence. Wow, my brain is already full.
And we're just getting started. Hill has a few more principles up his sleeve, some more unexpected than others. But one thing's for sure, he's creating a blueprint for overall personal development.
Yeah.
Not just like a quick scheme to get rich.
So more principles, more unexpected insights.
Yeah.
Okay, what else does Hill have for us?
Well, she talks about organized planning,
Makes sense.
which, seems
Right.
pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But then he gets into the importance of a pleasing personality, which
Okay.
some might say it's a bit subjective,
Sure.
but it's definitely important for building relationships.
Yeah, influence.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then leadership, accurate thinking, self-control.
He's really covering all the bases.
Trying to.
It's like he's creating like this whole recipe for a successful life, not just about, raking in the cash.
Precisely. But one of the most, well, maybe even a little controversial.
Oh.
One of his most intriguing principles is this idea of the sixth sense.
Sixth sense. Now we're getting into some interesting territory. Okay, so what does he mean by that?
Well, he describes it as this almost mystical ability,
Mystical.
to tap into what he calls infinite intelligence.
Infinite intelligence. All right, so we're definitely going to have to unpack that one.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah.
But basically, he's talking about like a universal source of wisdom knowledge.
Okay.
And he even says it's not supernatural exactly, more like it's a natural law.
A natural law.
That we just haven't fully grasped yet.
Interesting.
So it's fascinating stuff. And he connects this sixth sense to his principle of faith, actually.
Okay, so how does that work?
Well, he believed that by cultivating unwavering faith in your goals, faith in this universal intelligence,
Right.
you could actually access like intuitive guidance.
Intuitive guidance.
And achieve extraordinary things,
Hold on, are we talking about becoming like psychic millionaires here?
No, it's not quite like that. Hill's a lot more nuanced.
Okay, good.
He believed that this sixth sense was something you could develop.
Okay.
Through practice, through self-awareness.
So it's not just something you're born with or,
It's not just handed to you. No. You still have to put in the work, use your skills, all of that. But he's saying that by tapping into this deeper intuition,
Yeah.
you could make better decisions, attract better opportunities.
So it's like we're all connected to this vast source of wisdom, but we have to like learn how to tune in, like finding the right frequency on a radio or something.
That's a great analogy.
And Hill's saying faith is the key to dialing it in.
He is. And, he also stresses the importance of your environment. Surrounding yourself with positive influences, people who inspire you, lift you up. Because negativity, he thought, could actually block access to the sixth sense.
That makes sense, like trying to have a clear conversation in a room full of distractions and like negative chatter.
Exactly.
But I'm curious because Hill talks about all these interviews he did with these incredibly successful people.
He did, yeah.
Did any of them actually say they used this sixth sense to, to achieve their success? Or is that more like Hill's interpretation of their stories?
That's a great question. And it's one I'm not sure Hill ever definitively answers. I mean, he claims they attributed their success to these principles, but he doesn't offer like direct quotes from these interviews about the sixth sense specifically.
Right.
So it feels more like he's, pulling together his observations and his insights.
Into this cohesive philosophy.
Exactly.
So it's up to us as readers to decide how much we buy into the sixth sense.
I think so. Hill presents his research, his interpretation.
But ultimately, we all have to decide what resonates and how we apply it.
Absolutely.
To our own lives.
Right.
But one thing's for sure, this book, Think and Grow Rich, It's more than just a get-rich-quick scheme, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely not.
It's a challenge to think differently, to really step into your potential, to own your success.
Absolutely. And one of the most powerful takeaways, in my opinion, is his focus on identifying what he calls our alibis.
Alibis.
Our excuses for failure, basically.
Our excuses, yeah.
He even lists like 57 famous alibis.
7.
57, from blaming bad luck to, not having enough education, a bad economy. It's so easy to fall into that trap.
It is blaming external facts.
Way easier than looking inward.
Way easier than looking in the mirror and saying, okay, what could I have done differently?
Exactly. But he doesn't let us off that easy.
No, he doesn't.
He's all about taking responsibility.
Radical responsibility.
Exactly. He wants us to confront those excuses, those limiting beliefs, to recognize that we have the power to choose a different path.
We have the power.
And it all starts with owning our thoughts and actions.
Owning it. Which, it's funny you should mention that because it actually ties into one of his more practical principles.
Oh.
And one that's super relevant if you're, say, on the job hunt right now. So job, hunting, Hill style. He's got some pretty specific advice, right? Even if some of it might seem a little outdated now.
It does feel a bit old school sometimes.
Like walking into an interview today and saying, hey, I'll work for free to prove myself.
Yeah, that might not go over so well.
Not exactly a power move anymore, right?
Probably not. But even if the tactics need a little updating, the principles behind his approach, they still hold up.
It's about going deeper than just, blasting out resumes.
For sure. He talks about really understanding the employer.
Their needs, their problems.
Getting inside their head a little. And this actually connects to, I think, one of the coolest themes in the whole book. This idea of service.
Service. Okay, interesting.
It's not just about you getting rich, you see. It's about the value you bring to the table. He talks about shifting from a, quote, go-getter to a go-giver mindset.
Go-giver versus go-getter. Okay, that's a powerful distinction.
I think so.
And it's a good reminder for all of us, really. You, dear listener, you shared this book, so clearly you've got ambition, goals you're working towards. But Hill reminds us it's not just about us, it's about what we contribute.
To the world around us.
Exactly.
And to really bring your A game, to make that contribution meaningful. There's one more thing Hill says you need.
What's that?
Self-control.
Ah.
Mastering yourself, your impulses, your fears. It's just as important as mastering any skill set, he'd argue.
And that's where it gets real, isn't it? It's easy to read about desire and faith and all that and think, yeah, sounds great.
Right.
But the real work, the facing those inner demons, that's the tough part.
For sure. And Hill doesn't shy away from that. He lists all these negative emotions, fear, jealousy, anger. We all deal with them.
We all have those moments.
But he doesn't see them as like deal breakers.
Oh.
More like opportunities for growth,
It's like he's saying it's okay to have these feelings, acknowledge them.
Exactly.
But don't let them run the show.
Don't let them call the shots. And this absolutely loops back to his emphasis on autosuggestion.
Okay, yeah, it all connects, doesn't it?
It's not about pretending those negative thoughts don't exist.
Yeah.
It's about choosing to focus on the empowering beliefs.
Making that conscious choice.
Yeah.
It's a journey, this whole think and grow rich philosophy, isn't it? Not a quick fix, but a commitment to becoming the best, most self-aware version of yourself.
100%.
And honestly, even with some of the dated advice, the, slightly mystical elements,
Right.
Hill's core message is powerful. You have the power to shape your own reality.
You are in control. It starts with that choice, that belief in yourself. And then it's about setting those goals, taking action, even when it's hard. Like Hill said, whatever you can conceive and believe you can achieve.
So, to wrap things up this week, we'll leave you with this. What do you choose to achieve? What alibis might you be clinging to? The ones holding you back. Think and Grow Rich isn't just about, a fat bank account. It's about stepping into your full potential in all areas of life. And on that note,
Until next time.